down the mountain is
yeah, I need
really
to hit the weights for sure, because that's. But I'm happy because that's pretty fucking steep.
Yep.
Alright, so we found this hill that it's hard to get a good straight run at it. There's trees at the bottom of this canyon, and you can make it up a little ways like I just did, but okay, so my first mistake I think I made, probably because I couldn't see the line that I had initially made the first time I went up it, but I think I could have, as you're starting to get to that point of being stuck, start to flip your bike in one direction or the other. You know, to start doing your cambering, because basically like the only way up, I think. I mean, even if there was a different way up, I kind of wanted to do this anyways, just to camber back and forth and practice. But one technique I use, I think I do it here in a second. I'll put my leg on my left side and use my arms and my leg to pull the bike away from the hill, the front end away from the hill. Yeah, like that. I'm sure a lot of guys do that. It's pretty effective for me. But yeah, so I end up tipping over. I definitely failed there, but it's just really tricky because this is like silt. It's just super, so you don't know where the traction is going to be sometimes. So I'm still kind of learning about that. But that was a pretty bad mistake, but and cost me a lot of energy.
It's almost too loose to ride it, huh?
It's just so steep. I don't think I would be able to just ride it straight up because it's so steep. So I'm just zigzagging it. There's about 1 million zigzags. I don't know, it's probably 10 zigzags up this whole thing or more. And it's so loose. Really unpredictable. Sometimes you get traction, sometimes you don't. So I'm literally just, you could sit there and try and go up this way, but the loose rocks and everything are just such a challenge. I didn't expect to tip over right there. I didn't tip over last time. The first time I went up it probably didn't matter though, because it still took forever, but now I'm just wasting time, so I'm gonna try and flip it around again.
Alright, so each time I go up the hill and make a pivot or flip my bike around to go the other direction and hopefully go upward on the hill, I'm only going like 2 to 4 feet upward. It's just so slippery, there's no traction anywhere, so it's really tricky that way. So I'd say the most important thing that I've been working on is throttle and clutch control, along with, as I'm pushing the bike up this hill, I'm just barely letting the clutch engage the rear wheel. So I'm just letting the clutch out just enough to let the rear wheel barely start to turn as I'm pushing the bike. And I really feel like it's helping me save a lot of energy rather than just dumping the clutch and digging a hole with the rear wheel. And but this next thing, when I get up this hill here, I kind of get it turned around, and I kind of stumbled upon like this other technique that saved me some energy too, which was, so you can see my rear wheel is kind of down below and it's like in the main line, and my front tire is above it. So I turn my handlebars all the way to the right as it's above the line, and then I start to push the bike, and something about that like wants to suck the rear the rear wheel like upward as I'm pushing it. So it just took way less energy than either picking the rear wheel up or just pushing way harder. So that was, I feel like that's going to be a pretty useful technique. I was happy to get at least one good pivot in this. I was not sure if that was actually going to work out or not, but luckily it did, and I think by that time I had been telling myself, okay, make sure you do that, get wrapped, throw your weight forward and get around the other side of the bike. So that worked out for me a lot better that time. And this next one isn't too bad either, but mainly I'm just excited about the throttle and clutch control stuff that I'm starting to figure out, just because I've been really focusing on it, not revving the bike too much.
Actually probably faster than the last time. I could have got on it and like, I don't know if I could have gone on and even ridden it. Like, it's so steep and so loose. If there was traction, I think I would have been able to get on the bike actually in a couple spots, but it's so unpredictable, so silty, and then there's boulders. As soon as you think you're gonna get traction, a boulder just gets kicked out.
What'd you think going up it the second time? Did you think you were able to pivot easier or harder because the trail was gone? Or?
Well, I think because me and you both went up it, there was a bit of a line to choose from. But then secondly, like clutch control, I realized not trying to, just as low as RPMs as possible, and
kind of pushing your bike, right?
Pushing the bike along with just barely letting that rear wheel spin. As soon as you break the rear wheel loose, you just don't go anywhere. I had one really nice pivot down there in the middle. I was super stoked on that because you just saw, with this loose dirt, you just don't know how it's gonna go. So that's a workout. I'm kind of bummed I dropped my bike at the beginning because that just was pretty, that just didn't look cool, but
wastes a lot of energy too, huh?
Yeah, so much energy.
Yeah,
like
you low side it like that down the mountain.
Yeah, I need
really
to get
hard.
the